Alright, so I'm just going to talk about auto topology and then hair creation. It should be relatively quick. So, auto topology. So let's say you got your guy here, right? And I don't know, he's already been retopologized. But let's say I'm just going to dynamesh him real quick, just so you get the idea. So delete lower, and where's dynamesh? Dynamesh, and let's go higher. Let's go like 256. Okay, and I'm set dynamesh, and then hopefully that will. Okay, good. Dynamesh him real quick, and you can see this is what he looks like, right? So you can see none of the topology actually follows what he should look like. So to remesh this so that it would flow around, all you got to do is I'm gonna turn this back off. You're gonna go to Z remesher. And then here you can choose the amount. So 5 means 5,000 polys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to 15. If you can get away with 5,000, that's fine, but it's probably not going to be enough. So we'll go ahead and hit Z remesh or Z remesher. And what it's going to do is it's going to try and redraw the geometry. Now he was a little bit low in his dynamesh to begin with, but hopefully this will give you an idea. And now you can see how the geometry actually flows around his body. See how it kind of goes around the eyes? Not that great. Obviously doing it manually is still better. But you can see it still tries to go around the ear. And you see the individual fingers, which now look like creepy paws. It does its best to basically follow the topology. Okay, so at some point, it's a good idea. If you don't want to manually retopologize, you can try to utilize this instead. And the results are really decent considering it's automatic. But obviously, it's not as good as doing it manually. All right. So that was that. Now hair creation. There's a couple ways of going about doing this. I have the directions right here on how to do it. You can watch this video here on how to do it. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the fiber mesh on this character here. So basically what you want to do is this. So we're going to make this smaller, and you're going to hold control, and you're going to mask where you want the hair to be. I got to make this a little bit bigger. You're going to put in a mask for where hair should exist, right? So like basically where his scalp is. All right, and so obviously the better the head model, the better this will turn out. So we'll say it like that. Okay, so you do that. Then what we're going to do is minimize this, and you'll see fiber mesh. You click on that, and then we're going to do light box filters. And then what you want to do is basically choose one of these to start with, just because, why not? So I'm just going to click and drag, and wave hair, blah, blah, blah. See, they all got sorts of different looking things that might make sense for you. So I'm going to go with this one because it seems kind of generic. So I'm going to double click on that guy. And then I'm going to hit the light box up here. And you're going to see he looks amazing. I don't regret it at all. I think it's perfect. Send it to print. Okay, so obviously that's not the greatest looking hair you've ever seen. So there's a couple problems with it. So now what we want to do is open up this modifiers thing, and you want to adjust these things. So right off the bat, see what it says, the length profile. That's got to be for him a bit smaller. So I'm going to bring this way down, and then you can see, okay, getting a little closer. Let me see. Okay, kind of depends on how long you want his hair to be. We'll go like that. All right, we'll call that good. Now there's max fibers, so we can bring that down a little bit. You can pull the other way. You got to kind of play around with these and see what works. Let's see, coverage. Okay, kind of like that a little bit better. I don't want any twist. No, we don't want that either. Leave that one alone. Gravity profile. So gravity, yeah, we want it to have a lot of gravity. So I'm going to have it pulled down quite a bit. I don't know, H tangent. Okay, hey bud. And we're going to take clumping down. I'm not a big fan of the clumps. Let me see. Oh, gosh. We're going to go ahead and put the clump back on because I seem to hold it back into place. But basically, you want to slide around a bunch of these things. They have a picture here that's already attached, but you can probably, let's see, base color. I'm assuming that just makes it lighter and darker. You can actually paint the color of the hair afterwards, but you could click and use a different image. So let's use this one, and yeah, we'll auto resize that texture. That looks much better. But you could find a better texture that maybe might better mimic the hair you want. I mean, none of these make sense. I'd have to find like, yep, let's see. I have to find something that would make sense for what his hair is here. But, so yeah, you could try to change these various things to make the hair look a little bit better. But once you're kind of happy with that, what you want to do is go up and just hit accept. And yeah, we'll activate that. Good. Now, what you're going to notice is that now you have this and you have the hair. So you have, you now have subtools. Before you had just the one, remember they're called tools. Now you have subtools because now you have a character and you have the hair. So just make sure you're on the hair character or on the hair model or tool. Now, what you want to use is that you can actually use, believe it or not, you can actually, ooh, that's way much. You can actually use these other tools, but they're not made specifically for hair. So like standard or grab or move or whatever, you can grab those. But they do actually have grooming ones. So if you hit B, G, you'll see all the various grooming brushes. And there's a variety of them, ones that deal with like coloring and lengthening and, you know. So obviously the opposite of lengthen would be to shorten it if you want to shorten it. So I'm going to use Groom Brush 1 here. So like a color tip. Do they have color base? Color mid, and I don't know. They got a bunch of them. So we're going to be G, and I'm just going to do the regular old Groom Brush, just so you get an idea of how it works. It works pretty good. So you go like this, and then you just brush their hair. Who's a pretty bird? Pretty bird. Right? And then I can kind of brush their hair like you would. Alright, and that's, so, you know, just kind of, it's kind of neat, right? Now, if there's other tools here too, so you might want to have like a part in his hair, so we'll do B, G, and then, let me see, spike, lengthen. There's one in here that, let me see, twister, I don't want that. Groom spit knot. Maybe it's just the blower is what I was using. I swear I had one that was good for that. Alright, well let me see if the blower works. I would just play around with them and then see what you end up with. Yeah, that blower is not the one I was looking for. Oops. Let me see what we got going on here. So, groom hair ball, long, short. But yeah, so you would play around with those, and then you could have your hair. And if you want to see what it like looks like a little bit better, you hit this BPR for best preview render. It's probably gonna take a while because it's got to render shadows and all that other business. And if you want to adjust the settings of the render, it's up in here. This render setting, menu button up here. But this will give you a more realistic, not just for the hair, but for the character in general. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, good. Okay. But you can see that the hair looks a little bit more realistic than what it did before. Okay. So, and you can see it's got shadows and all that other business. So that's something to look into too. Generally speaking, like this looks really cool and it's really neat, and you could send it to Maya and that would be fine. It would be great. But it's not good for video games because that's a lot of geometry. So I don't suggest doing it this way unless you're like planning on, I don't know. It's just not a good way of working, right? But it does look cool and it's really neat, and you can do all sorts of cool things. Like you do grass and feathers and what have you, like all sorts of different options, okay? So that's one thing you could do. I'm going to take this and we're going to delete that. Hit OK. Now the other option is to do the same thing we did before where we mask this. And what you do is we're just going to make a separate piece of geometry that's the hair. So what we're going to do is we're still in the subtool menu here, but you'll see there's an option for extract. So you click on extract, and then you set the thickness and the smooth. So the smooth is like how much it rounds it out, but we'll leave it at 0.2. You hit extract, and it's going to, oh, okay, hit extract again. It's going to make it a certain amount. Now I can change the thickness. I can go much higher, hit extract. You see, 0.2 was probably not a bad start. Come on. So let's do 0.015. And then we'll hit extract. And then when you're happy and you know it, you hit accept. Boop. And now, and then I'll hold control, click and drag to get rid of that mask. And now I have this hair shape. And from here, And again, it made it another layer, so it's a separate layer. Now from here, I could go through and BST, and you know, maybe use this one here, you know, and sculpt out, you know, hair onto this and make it look terrible. Okay. Oh God. You know, I'll just smooth this out a little bit. But you know, we could up the res and stuff of that, and then you could just use a shape, you know, a piece of model that's on top of it. But just be aware, it is indeed a different, you know, it just sits on top of the other object. Okay. So, but that's another option that if you want to do that, that's not a terrible idea. You could also just, like, I don't know if you saw it earlier, you could literally just sculpt on top of the model itself. That's another option that I didn't think about. But, or you could have a separate piece. Now, the final option to do, and this is kind of what you'd want to do for a video game, but it's a little bit cumbersome, and I can't really cover it into any great detail, is to utilize Maya. So, which would be basically where you do something like this. So you can see she has this hair here. And what you would do is you would do something like this. You create a plane. Okay, so I just clicked up here to create a plane. And I'm just going to move it. Where are you at, plane? Okay, it's way down here. And let's see. Alright, so I don't need it to be quite that thick, so I'm going to go to faces. I'm going to delete some here, and we'll delete some there. So we end up with something like that. Then I will shape it. Oops, okay. And I'm going to hit B for soft select, click and drag, and then skinny it up, then undo that, you know, and then we can do B for soft select again, and rotate it up and pull that kind of down, like so. And then we'll grab this one, Q to this one, and make that a little bit less. Well, actually, we'll go a little bit like that, and pull that over, and rotate this kind of up. And you kind of basically make like a hair patch kind of a thing, right? And then what you would do, and you'd have to like do it like a whole bunch. Come on. Why are you not right clicking? Come on. Right click. There we go. So you can see I just basically shaped a bunch of these onto the head. Then what you want to do is you want to apply basically 3 textures, okay? So I'd go onto this, and I'd make right click, assign a new material to it, and I would do a blend so that it has shininess. But then what I'd want to do is basically assign underneath each one of these. So you'd click on like color, then file, and then I would choose, okay, I do have it, okay. This right here. So this is just the color of it, right? So you can see it has the color of the hair. Boom. And it would look like this because the UVs are no good. I gotta fix that real quick. And UVs, and I just gotta rotate this around. But this is quite a cumbersome ordeal, and we can cover this in class. Let me just scale this guy down. Okay. So, alright. So I got this, and that kind of works, but obviously it doesn't really look like hair. It just looks like a plane with kind of hair painted on it. So that would be one thing. Then what we want to do is on transparency. Again, I would attach a file to it. Tell the file I want it to, where I want it to go. And so something, let me see, black, white would be see-through. Oh no, this way. I want white where it's not see-through, and then black where it is, and hit open. And you're going to see that if you look, you can see it's see-through. But we're catching a shine on it, which doesn't help. So what I also have to do is, again on this, I'm going to go to my specular color, which is the shininess, and I'm going to attach basically the same file as the previous one. Click on this and go to this one, the white for the hair and the black for the knot. And then you're going to see that now it makes a little bit more sense. I don't know if you can see that, but see how it kind of looks like hair? Now, it could use a little bit more work here. The last thing we could do, which I did on this, but you can't really tell so much, is there's a bump map on it to make it look more like strands of hair. So we're going to go to the bump map, and we go File, and I attach Bumps Fine. Go to File, click on this, and we look for basically the same thing as this again. And you're going to see it adds those striations looking thing. Now, I can adjust some of these things. So I'm going to go to this bump mapping. I just clicked off and back on it. And hit this little arrow to go back. And I'm just going to change this to, like, let's say 0.25. Let's try 0.1. a little bit better. That way it doesn't go too nuts. But you see now it has kind of like that, and then I'll click on the reflectivity, should have none. The eccentricity, to pull that a little bit tighter, and the specular roll off will pull a little bit tighter. There you go. And then it looks a little bit like hair. And basically you would make these patches and place them on the head, right? So you can make your kid an emo. Nobody understands me. Alright, so something like that. Looks great. But that's the other way of doing it, is basically you would have those planes and you lay them over top of them. Okay, but it's a little bit, like I said, it's a little bit annoying to produce. And you can see I didn't even do a good job because I didn't spend forever on it. But if I was going to like make it legit or something, I would spend much more time on it. But it would probably take me all day to make something that was not even terrible, but still not good. Okay. Alright. Alrighty. So that was the last way. So you can see you need a color map, a bump map, which is a black and white map that represents kind of the variations, the up and down of it, and then the alpha map, which is the see-through part. Okay, so using the combination of these three, you end up with a hair plane, such as what you saw, and then solid shape I showed you. So you're just going to continue work. For next class, what you should do is have your model retopologize, which you might have already done that anyway, and then just try to sculpt it to a more finished state, okay? Because we basically have one more class that you're going to spend on it, and then we'll go on to the next assignment.